afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Global Atheist News Roundup, dateline 27th of January 2024. This week's headlines. A silent multi-faith peace walk was held in London. Iran flogged a woman 74 times for posting a photo of her without a hijab. Iranian faces a death penalty for insulting Islam. UK officials probe Iran general's anti-Semitic talks to students. A Colorado pastor says God told him to launch a crypto venture. In South Africa, a prophet was drowned by crocodiles while being baptized in a river. Lives are now endangered at the school which restricted prayer rituals. Peers say, abolish compulsory acts of worship and modernise RE in schools. Prince William is told to back Christianity or abdicate. And a dog was blessed in Mexico. Here is the news in detail. Without flags, placards or chants, hundreds of people joined a silent multi-faith peace walk in London on Sunday, in response to the Israel-Gaza war. Muslims, Jews, Christians, Hindus and Buddhists walked side by side from Trafalgar Square to Parliament Square and back in solidarity with people affected by the conflict in the Middle East. War hurts our hearts, said Rabbi Alexandra Wright, the president of Liberal Judaism and senior rabbi of the Liberal Jewish Synagogue, as faith leaders read prayers on the steps of Trafalgar Square before setting off on a 1-mile walk alongside non-religious people. We pray for those who are still held hostage and for their release from captivity, and for the thousands in Israel and Gaza who have been displaced from their homes. We pray for peace in the region, for the safe passage of humanitarian aid to all those who need it, for the wisdom and moral courage of world leaders, and for civility here in the UK and across the West among those who may find themselves on opposite sides of this conflict. She added that the war was geographically far from us, but felt even here like the ground ruptures of an earthquake. A woman was whipped 74 times in Iran for not covering her hair. See this video.
Shifting our focus to Iran, where the country continues its crackdown against women, and in the latest, Iranian authorities whipped a woman 74 times for violating public morals and fined her for not covering her head. The judiciary announced that the convicted Roya Heshmati encouraged permissiveness by appearing disgracefully in busy public places in Tehran. All women in Iran are required to cover their neck and head since after the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The whipping for breaching the dress code are uncommon in Iran. However, the practice was revived during the anti-government protests that began in late 2022. Officials have installed surveillance cameras in public places to monitor violations. They have also shut businesses that breach the rules. Iran's parliament has also discussed a bill that would toughen penalties for those breaching the dress code. Protests were triggered by the September 2022 death in custody of Mahsa Amini sparked widespread protests. A 22-year-old Iranian woman who was arrested for allegedly breaching Iran's strict dress code for women. During the protests, female demonstrators abandoned their headscarves or even burnt them. They began to flout the dress code, leading to a massive crackdown. A Kurdish-focused rights group Hengav identified Heshmati as a 33-year-old woman of Kurdish origin. Her lawyer, Mazyar Tatay, said that she was arrested in April last year for publishing a photo on social media without wearing a headscarf. Heshmati was also ordered to pay a fine of around $25 for not wearing the Muslim veil in public.
A man in Iran faces the death penalty for insulting Islam. See this video.
In Iran, 32-year-old Hassan Zard faces the death penalty over online activity deemed to insult Islam. Charged with insulting Islam, the Islamic Republic's leader, and blasphemy, his predicament stems from expressing frustrations about Iran on Instagram. A source close to Zard emphasizes the urgency and injustice of the situation. Quote, "The people of Iran should know for which imaginary crimes young people are being killed."
Videos of anti-Semitic speeches by Iranian generals given to UK students are being investigated by the Charity Commission. The regulator is also looking at footage of Death to Israel chants at an Islamic charity's UK premises. Verified by the BBC, 2 of the videos show talks by members of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. One described an apocalyptic war on Jews. The group that promoted the online talks said it respects all communities. The footage, which includes a denial of the Holocaust, adds to growing concerns from some MPs that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is attempting to radicalize UK Muslims. Security services have also warned it is inciting violence and plotting to kidnap or kill people on British soil. One of the most powerful paramilitary organizations in the Middle East, the IRGC, controls the Iranian government's foreign covert operations and supports militant groups such as Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Houthis in Yemen. The IRGC has previously been linked to kidnap and assassination plots in the UK. Counter-terror police confirmed in February last year that 15 such plots had come out of Iran since 2020, and the BBC has since been told that there has been at least one more. See this video.
The chant repeated is death to Israel. It's not in Iran, but Hammersmith, West London, inside the Qanun Tawhid Islamic Centre. The event was to celebrate the life of top Iranian Revolutionary Guard commander, General Qasem Soleimani. Soleimani was killed in a US airstrike, and he was sanctioned in the UK for links to terrorism. This was one of 3 events captured on video and seen by the BBC. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, is one of the most powerful paramilitary organisations in the Middle East. Some MPs fear it's trying to radicalise UK students. And security services say it's plotting to kidnap or kill people on British soil. The 2 other events were online speeches by former and active IRGC commanders, promoted in advance by the Islamic Students Associations of Britain, who are based inside Qanun Tawhid. This is former senior IRGC commander Saeed Qassemi. He is known for extreme speeches, and in this clip, he falsely claims the Holocaust was fake.
اون اینه که هولوکاست واقعی در کشور تو اتفاق افتاد. اونی که میگن یهودی‌ها یک چیز دروغین و ساختگیه.
He also glorifies the death of IRGC commander General Qasem Soleimani and describes his return from death in an apocalyptic war that will end the lives of Jews.
که این پایان عمر ظالمین و اشغالگران و صهاینه است و یهودی‌ها در کل جهان که
Look at the top left of the footage. The banner written in Farsi translates to the Islamic Students Associations of Britain. We also obtained footage of this live-streamed event in September 2020. It lasted over 20 minutes and was watched by around 1,500 people. It was hosted by the man on the left, Mohammed Hussein Atheist, a British citizen educated in Yorkshire who was secretary of the Islamic Students' Associations of Britain at the time. He is no longer the secretary, and this is the only event he appears in. The man on the right is IRGC commander Hossein Yekta, and he had this message for students.
اون روز حضرت امام به ما گفت جبهه دانشگاه است و ما رفتیم جبهه شد دانشگاه، یعنی جای شما شدید افسرهای جوان جنگ نرمی که باید این رسالتی که به دوشتونه.
Mohammed Hussein Atheist said the allegations are false. He would not answer the BBC's questions. Previously, he said he does not have direct or indirect affiliation to the IRGC or any army, government or security group in the world. Qanun Tawhid is owned by the Al Tawhid Charitable Trust. The Charity Commission is investigating events inside Qanun Tawhid and is now examining the videos seen by the BBC. The Islamic Students' Associations of Britain told the BBC it is an independent group with no affiliations to any government. It added that all its activities are lawful.
Denver pastor Eli Regalado had an exciting message for his congregation. After months of prayers and cues from God, he was going to start selling cryptocurrency, he announced in a YouTube video last April. The Signature and Silvergate banks had collapsed weeks earlier, signalling the need to look into other investment options beyond financial considerations, he said. With divine wisdom, he said, he was setting the rails for God's wealth transfer. Shortly afterward, Regalado and his wife, Caitlin Regalado, launched a cryptocurrency, Index Coin, and began selling it to members of his Victorious Grace Church and other Christian communities in the Denver area. They sold it through the Kingdom Wealth Exchange, an online cryptocurrency marketplace he created, controlled, and operated. As recently as last week, Eli Regalado expressed hope that divine intervention would bail out him and his investors. Either I misheard God, or God is still not done with his project, and he is going to do a new thing, he said in the video posted Friday. What we're praying for and what we're believing for still is that God is going to do a miracle. God is going to work a miracle in the financial sector, and that everyone who invested is going to be able to receive money back. A court hearing is scheduled for Monday. A man who claimed to be a prophet drowned and was then torn to pieces by crocodiles while being baptized in the South African river. The victim's remains were discovered surrounded by crocodiles in the Olifants River in Limpopo on Sunday. The 48-year-old man from Atok drowned during a prayer ceremony with two others days earlier, according to local media. As they prayed, one prophet suddenly experienced difficulties and drowned in the crocodile-infested river, according to police spokesperson Colonel Malasela Ledwaba. It is suspected that he was attacked by crocodiles during the baptism ceremony, Colonel Ledwaba added. The National Secular Society has said the government must do more to protect and support schools after teachers received death threats over a policy restricting prayer rituals. Michaela Community School in Wembley was subjected to death threats and bomb scares last year after a pupil broke school rules about praying in the playground. The school's head teacher, Catherine Birbal Singh, said teachers' lives are now endangered. The pupil, known as TTT, and her mother are taking legal action against the school, saying the restriction on prayer rituals is discriminatory and breaches their freedom of religion or belief. According to the Mail on Sunday, court documents reveal that a group of around 30 pupils intimidated other pupils who would not fast during Ramadan. They pressured a girl into wearing a hijab and coerced another girl into leaving the school choir by telling her it was forbidden in Islam. The pupils also started holding prayer rituals in the playground and put pressure on pupils who chose not to pray. The school said the prayer rituals created an intimidatory and aggressive atmosphere and resulted in a division in the playground between the Muslim and the non-Muslim children, which had never happened before. Head teacher Birbal Singh said the school's governing body decided to ban the prayer rituals after weighing up all the options because they had become a catalyst for abuse and threats. In March, TTT was suspended for 2 days after displaying extreme rudeness towards a teacher who objected to her bringing a prayer mat to the playground. The suspension prompted the most appalling abuse and threats to teachers, including threatening phone calls and emails. One email said, "If you carry on disrespecting our Muslim children, you will be dealt with like the filthy dog that you are." Another warned, "We have planted several bombs in the building, many of which are hidden in toilets, hall rooms, and classes on all floors. These are the consequences of your actions." Individual staff members were also attacked. One teacher's home had a brick thrown through the window. A break-in was also attempted at another teacher's home. A black teacher was subjected to racist abuse, and other teachers received death threats. Bottles were also thrown onto the playground from the street. Birbal Singh said, "The school has had to hire security staff as their lives are now endangered." Peers in the House of Lords yesterday called for the abolition of collective worship and a rethink on religious education taught in schools. Humanists UK has long campaigned for a curriculum that is inclusive of non-religious worldviews and continues to press the UK government to implement the conclusions of the 2018 Commission for RE report, which recommended renaming religious education as Religion and World Views. Speaking in the debate, Lord Warner of Brockley, a former chair of the all-party parliamentary humanist group, said, "We should move to teach an independently devised, more broadly based national education curriculum on faith and non-faith beliefs." Other contributions came from Baroness Meacher, who called for religious education to be fully inclusive of worldviews, and a call for humanism to be included in the curriculum came from Baroness Twycross. Meanwhile, Lord Storey stressed the importance that young people understand people of different faiths and those of no faiths. Lord Griffiths of Bury Port extolled the need for religious education in schools to develop young people's wider understanding of humankind. Prince William has to accept his future role as head of the Church of England or step aside and abdicate, according to Queen Elizabeth II's former chaplain. Gavin Ashenden, that's him, said he believed reports in a bombshell royal book by Daily Mail journalist Robert Hartman that William may shun his role as Supreme Governor of the Church of England. The Making of a King, King Charles III and the Modern Monarchy, that's the book. It quotes a senior palace figure who says William is not instinctively comfortable in a faith environment. See this video.
I think it's very interesting, and it's almost certainly true. William doesn't show any signs of being alive to the vibrancy of Christian faith. And in that sense, he's very representative of his generation. This is a role he plays whether he likes it or not, which is part actually of the burden of monarchy. Or if he feels that strongly and he can't do it, then step aside and abdicate and see if there's somebody else in the royal succession who can.
Finally, a dog was blessed by a priest in Mexico. Just look at his expression. Shortly on this channel, you can watch me chat with guest Chris French, who is the head of the Anomalistic Psychology Research Unit at Goldsmiths. He has a new book coming out soon. Come and join us by text. And don't forget to watch Views on the News, the show where our opinionated panel give their views on the items I've just reported on. This has been Global Atheist News. Please like, subscribe and share. Thank you for watching.